In a game that's brought the 90s back, the 49ers host arch-rival Dallas as 4-point home favorites in Santa Clara. The sides are coming off what were the most convincing wild card performances of any team. Kyle, we sort of talked about this last Sunday night when you, me, and Pat got together, but how convinced are we that Brock Purdy can keep this going? I know we were convinced about where we were not, I know we were concerned about some of his throws against the Seattle Seahawks last weekend, despite yet another pristine box score.
I'm fairly convinced that he can keep doing what he's doing. It's just about like trying to describe what he has done, which to me is what most of the 49ers quarterbacks have done, is execute a good scheme. And it shows up in his EPA versus CPOE, just very nerd way of trying to describe what we're seeing, which is that he's 20th in CPOE. He isn't particularly accurate relative to the depth of field he's trying to throw to. And
he has relative to the eye test.
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of saying the same thing in a way. You know, we can both agree that a 28-aught throw or one of those long balls is easier to complete than a screen. So, but he's second in EPA per play, second in the NFL in EPA per dropback. He flipped Jimmy in both of those stats as well. He's
better than Jimmy. I hate to say he's better than Jimmy.
I don't have a strong take. I kind of think he is, but we've seen 8 games from him, give or take. So I don't want to be too confident.
He's more enjoyable than Jimmy.
Definitely less soul destroying than Jimmy for sure.
I think his ability to improvise makes him instantly better than Jimmy. You know, that almost touchdown that he had where he scrambled, he hit Ayuk in the back of the end zone and he dropped it. That Jimmy Garoppolo would never even try that. Never.
Jimmy Garoppolo throws that one directly into a linebacker's hands. Or
even just the check down touchdown to CMC where he like scrambled around and then like he knew where CMC was going to be, like composure.
Okay, yes, he's a product of the Shanahan system, but not as much as Jimmy Garoppolo, not even close.
Yeah, and I will say he's been pretty solid under pressure on we're talking about a limited sample of 8 games. You are not pressured as often in those 8 games. So it is a very limited sample. I don't want to read too much into it, but he's been pretty good under pressure. And obviously we know this scheme really does well in creating yards after the catch. And the Cowboys have allowed the 4th most yards after the catch per completion, despite having like roughly a league average 8-aught of passes thrown against them. So really like adjusting for where the passes are coming at, they do give up a lot of yards after the catch. They are a really strong defense, but that's one of their vulnerabilities if they have any. And it's the perfect vulnerability for this offense. So like as much as sure, I think any quarterback and especially a rookie quarterback could just really go out and drop a dud against the best pass rush in the NFL and just one of the best overall defenses. He's still got a pretty good chance at executing what he's done so far in this upcoming game.
Yeah, Brock Purdy's just on the stage accepting the Lombardi from Roger Goodell and Fox's Kevin Burkhardt. And as I mutter under my breath, he'll get exposed next week. Yeah, the shoe's going to drop next week. Just you wait. The book's out on him.
I have to say, this idea that Trey Lance is just going to come back and get his job back, that's not happening.
I think it will. I think Kyle Shanahan's a big sunk cost fallacy guy. I think it will.
Is he? Because he doesn't, like every running back he's ever drafted in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th round always plays behind a 6th or 7th
That's true.
round.
He's actually not. Because
amazingly, immediately compelling, directly contradictory evidence. Yeah.
We're looking into this strongly.
DDP.
Don't even get started on the receivers who he immediately moves on from. Like even if they're
Dante
good.
Pettis.
He moved on from Brandon Ayuk for half a season, even though he was good.
Yeah.
He was serious about that.
I do think
he got it together, but
no, I think there's a good chance that Trey Lance never plays another snap for the Niners.
I actually don't agree. I think he will be the starter.
I do too. But I mean, guys, like, let's see how it finishes. If they win the Super Bowl, he's never playing for him again.
So
if
real quick,
he gets blown out by the Cowboys, then we're seeing.
I guess if he wins the Super Bowl, maybe they can't go back to Trey Lance.
They can't. No way.
I think even if he gets to the Super Bowl, there is a very strong argument. Like how many first team reps do you think he took up until week 10? Like maybe he got like some after like was Jimmy ever dealing with an ankle injury before he got hurt?
What's your argument? You think if
he's just had no preparation?
Purdy's got upside beyond this.
Yeah, Purdy is the least prepared starting quarterback in the NFL. It's like him and Skylar Thompson, right? Are the guys who our expectations should be drastically low for. And if he makes the Super Bowl, he'll be like,
it's very nice of you about Skylar.
I'm saying like I don't want to put Patrick Mahomes' expectations on Skylar Thompson in his second career start.
Right.
I want to put 7th round rookie expectations on him, which I think is fair. I think he'd appreciate not having too high of a bar to clear. He'll be 11-1 with wins against a bunch of playoff teams. Like, I don't know how you go back.
And a bunch of playoff wins.
Yeah, more importantly.
Trey Lance doesn't fit here. He just doesn't.
So I think it sounds like we have decided, at least, even if he's a system quarterback, the dreaded system quarterback, we can't do the meme with Brock Purdy where we hold up a picture of CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins, and Brock Purdy and say they're the same picture.
No, it's the Jimmy Garoppolo's the meme.
Yeah, it's true. They're the same
and
picture.
It's him on a rookie contract.
Yeah,
that's actually kind of amazing.
Man, that's a good point.
He's better than Jimmy. There's no doubt about it. Sorry, Jimmy. Kerrane, what is the Cowboys' offensive approach going to be against this elite 49ers defense, where I just feel like it's all over the map what you can expect and get from this Cowboys offense?
Well, it's not that all over the map in terms of what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to run the ball. And they like to run the ball, and they will run the ball here.
That's true. I meant, what they're forced to, it can be all over the map. You're right.
The outcomes are all over a map. The strategy is exact. We have the coordinates down to the millionth decimal place. We know where it is on Google Maps by inches.
Their game plan is written on stone tablets. They're not exactly altering it week to week. They're going to be running the ball here.
Against the best run defense in the league, even?
I mean, it's the best pass defense. They're second in EPA against the pass.
They're definitely the best run defense. It gets a little more debatable if they're the best pass defense. They're in the mix. But they're certainly the best run defense in the league, the 49ers.
Yep. Cowboys don't care.
Yeah.
They're going to run the ball. Cowboys 25th in pass rate over expected. Wow. They rank behind the Niners, who we think of as got to establish a team. Nope. Cowboys more committed to the run than the 49ers. They rank behind the Ravens. They rank just ahead of the Saints. This team wants some of that is through the fact they had Cooper Rush, but they've been run first even with Dak. So I think they're not the Bears, the Falcons, where they're just run at all costs. But they're kind of a more extreme version of the Jaguars, where they're going to make sure they get their runs in. They're not going to abandon that, even if it's not going particularly well. And honestly, it might go okay because they have an explosive element with Tony Pollard. So I think they're going to be, balanced with the run first in the balanced realm, but tilted to the run. And overall, I think this game environment might be kind of, there'll be points, but it's going to be
mid.
It's not, mid. It's going to be mid. Thank you. Look at that. The Zoomer helping me out. I didn't know the word. That is the exact word I was going for.
It is mid.
Denny's kids have told him to stop using that word, by the way.
Oh man, have they ever? God. And along with oh man, there are so many words that my son uses that I try to use, and he's like, "Dad, please don't say that.
Please never ever say them on the show." Either.
I do. I think that there's a faint chance. Just let me believe this. Let me go with this.
I'll let you believe it. But...
That the Cowboys.
The speech is free.
As Susan Collins would say, the Cowboys have learned their lesson. And
no, what? But she's always wrong. What do you mean?
And maybe they were. I bet you guys didn't think Susan Collins would come.
No, we did not. Denny.
I also didn't think you would be aligned.
And so look, the Cowboys were over their expected pass rate on first down against the Bucs. They had I think they were 1% under their expected pass rate overall. We're making progress. We're pushing toward a more balanced approach here.
I don't know.
I don't know. We're not. We're not because
you go, Pat.
Well, expected pass rate is you have to think about expected pass rate, and they had an expected pass rate of 57%. So they were 57%.
Yeah,
not run heavy enough. We got to go under that. So they're if it's all relative to what your expected pass rate is, and I think the expected pass rate for both teams could be pretty low if this is kind of a grinded out back and forth game. So I don't think we're going to see a ton of passing attempts here.
You mentioned the explosive element from Tony Pollard. Thank God they have that, because Ian Hartitz, former Rotoworld employee, friend of the show, points out on Ezekiel Elliott's last 40 carries, he has gained 74 yards.
Oh my gosh.
So Zeke seems to be winding down a little bit here down the stretch of the season. So they're going to really, really need Tony Pollard.
Hey, I don't care. It doesn't matter how efficient he is. They're going to feed Zeke.
You have
hearing that for 2 years. Is that no longer true?
He has to listen. He has to have 15 2-yard gains before CeeDee Lamb can have a long reception. That's just the way it goes.
So Ian too. So Zeke's last 40 carries, 74 yards. On Tony Pollard's last 40 carries, 157 yards. They might need to feature Tony Pollard just a little bit more, especially against this elite 49ers
and
defense.
Pollard's not going to have much rostership here because of the matchup. I just want to.
He might. I feel like he might.
Really? Man.
I don't know. Maybe not.
I kind of like that. I like that play.
People believe in Pollard, though.
No, he feels like a gross play, is why I say. I mean, Zeke is the grossest play of all time. I don't even think.
Ooh, so does that mean we actually need to play Zeke then?
No, Zeke's full throw up. You don't want to actually throw up.
Hey man, 18 carries, 38 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's the price of doing business. A little throw up, that's fine. It's the price of doing business. Oh gosh, God, please stop that.
No, that's a perfectly viable line, by the way. The thing you just said, 18 carries for 30 yards and 2 touchdowns?
38, come on.
That could happen. 100% that could happen.
38. 2 touchdowns, sub 20 points is Zeke's probably his most likely outcome this week.
Yeah, that's the price of doing business. That's the price of doing business. So yeah, just beyond the obvious, same question for this game. Who were the DFS plays? Who are like the X Factor guys, the T.Y. Hiltons, if you will, that you're excited to play in Cowboys 49ers? And who wants to go first? Don't be shy.
Well, I was doing a lot of research and found out that T.Y. Hilton led the team in air yards. I wanted to get that in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He was just this far behind Dalton Schultz, actually.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah. Schultz led, but just barely.
The narrative's crumbling. The T.Y. Hilton economy built.
He led the receivers. He led the receivers in air yards.
Also, the Niners, just like the Eagles, the Niners get attacked via the slot way more than the boundaries. So that means, you have CeeDee Lamb running like around, I guess, half his routes from the slot, which should be increased here, but probably won't be. And Dalton Schultz, I think, is also a decent play, even though Niners have been good against tight ends.
Is Eli Mitchell thing? Can we play Eli Mitchell? I feel like we play Eli Mitchell.
He's getting used around the goal line. Why not?
Yeah, that's the thing is I saw like his expected fantasy points were like within 2 or 3 of McCaffrey's last week. He, like you said, he gets high leverage touches. So, yeah, go for it.
It's fun.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and Rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, okay? Respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Rotoworld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.